Welcome back, guys. It's the AJ show, and we are live to bring you. Well, I mean, it's the first time we're finally getting NFL games on a Sunday.
I know. I'm
I, I
excited.
I don't know about you. I've been watching some college football, been enjoying it. It's nothing like the NFL. I know there's
No.
people that would say differently. I would tell you right now, it's nothing like the NFL.
Yeah. No, I'm ready, man. I'm excited. We've been waiting for this for a long time. And watching the Bucks and Cowboys game was a little taste of just there's a different air this season, I feel like. I feel like people are very excited about the stadiums being back in full swing and just feeling like a more normal, season. It's exciting, man.
No,
It's beautiful.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I noticed that, early on in that Dallas and Tampa game, you know how every year there's like this tendency where it's like they play a little sloppy and then everyone's like, oh, they're sloppy.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that game was particularly like sloppy. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel that way. I didn't come off like, oh, these guys are just, so rusty. I never felt that way at all.
No, they look good. Both teams look good, honestly. Like both teams, I thought the Bills or the Bucks and the Cowboys, I thought they looked good for what it was after
Yeah.
first week opening game. It was awesome, man. It was exciting.
No, absolutely. And, it doesn't shock me the result of that game because I feel like week one, everybody has a shot, clean slate,
True.
But I was overly impressed with Dak Prescott. I mean, I was blown away. The fact he came back from that injury and he was the best player on the field that night. I mean, Tom Brady looked amazing too,
Yeah.
but Dak, I mean,
Dak
I
looked
was
good.
just
I
was
mean-
blown away.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked though. Dak is.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit.
No, he
you know,
doesn't.
but
I'm happy for him because, he had a game where it's just like it was kind of an FU to the haters. And furthermore, his only interception, just like Brady's, like they were all not their fault.
Right.
Brady had an interception at the end of the half where he's throwing a Hail Mary.
Yep.
And then the other interception was off of Fournette's hands, whereas Dak threw maybe the best ball all night. A rocket to CeeDee Lamb over the middle in between three defenders, and Lamb botched it, and it got picked.
Yeah. Yep.
And that honestly might have cost him the game. Aside from that, Amari Cooper looked great.
Yep.
Godwin looked great.
Yep.
Gronkowski might be back, which
Brown,
is scary. Antonio Brown might be back. Tampa looked good, but also the Cowboys look good. So we'll see. We got a huge slate today. We're going to get into it. We're starting off with Eagles and Falcons. The Eagles are, of course, going to Atlanta.
Yep.
New head coach in Sirianni, going to be the same quarterback that we know of, Jalen Hurts, but they did trade for Gardner Minshew, so they will have that mobility factor with Jalen Hurts, as well as adding Devontae Smith via the draft and some other pieces there. Whereas the Falcons, they are bringing in Arthur Smith. This is his first, so it's two rookies going against each other as head coaches. And then, of course, you have the veteran presence of, a Matt Ryan. Julio Jones is no longer there, so, in steps a bigger role for Russell Gage, Calvin Ridley, who has become a captain for them, a guy that they can really rely on.
Yep.
And then furthermore, they added Kyle Pitts early on in the first round, so it's going to be an interesting game. And here's the thing. I think Philly is going to have a rough time this year. I think it's going to be rough. But this game, I feel like, is going to be pretty evenly matched. Week one, both teams are playing for something. Where are you going in this one?
I don't know, man. I'm not that. I mean, my take on Matt Ryan is that, I'm just not that impressed with him anymore. But maybe I'm falling victim to, the same stuff that's happening to Ben Roethlisberger, where I'm just he's old and he's not winning games anymore.
Well, yeah.
Well, he's definitely not winning games. Ben is still winning games, but, I'm listening to the narratives more than I'm actually evaluating, which could be part of the problem. But for me, I don't know. I mean, I could see the Eagles winning this game. I like some of the pieces that the Eagles have. I think they're kind of – I know they got a lot of questions to answer, and they definitely have just glaring holes. They're not going to be, an amazing team this year, but I don't think they're as bad as some people are trying to make them out to be, in my opinion.
Well, I think that's the thing is, I think it's early on, so we just don't know how to make it out to be. Like, personally, I think the Eagles are going to be terrible. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think they're the one team that don't stand a chance in the NFC East.
Okay.
But with the Falcons, I also didn't. I liked the Falcons more before I did the projections. I couldn't believe I only had them winning like 5 games. So, I mean, that's how it came out to be. So, I don't know. I look at Arthur Smith and what he was able to do for Tannehill's career, what he did for that Titans offense. He kind of comes from that same Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay style.
Yep.
So that could definitely be beneficial for them. I'm going to go with the Falcons in a shootout in this one. I think both teams are somewhat evenly matched. I think Hurts' mobility will keep this thing going. I think the Falcons' defense obviously has something to prove. I have 38-31 Atlanta Falcons take the win.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to pick a winner, I would go Falcons. I don't have like a score prediction, but as far as who I think the better team is, yeah, I would say Falcons, especially week 1 right now, because you're still trying to figure out how you're going to use.
It's like most of the time you just go with the home team week 1 because you're
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're 3.5 favorites, just so you know.
Okay.
I mean, typical. So say you're just a good team and you're favored to win.
Yep.
They give you 3 points.
Right.
If you're a good team.
Right.
So they're getting more than what a good team would get. I honestly think that's a little high, but I know my projection in general would have them covering because it's 38-31. Now we move on to your game, the Steelers at Bills. Bills are 6.5-point favorites. I don't like that at all. Let's not pick the game yet. Let's just go through it. Obviously, you have Najee Harris coming to the Steelers. You have the Bills who, they went out and they got Gregory Rousseau for the trenches there. I really like him long term. I think he can make an impact this season.
Yep.
I don't know how much of an impact he has in week 1.
He's apparently looked good in training camp.
Yes, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but where do I go with this? I mean, I don't want to. I could talk all day about the matchup from last year, but I think if I had to summarize what I'm looking at in this game, I think the mainstream media is not giving the Steelers enough credit for potentially at least going in and giving the Bills a good game. I think everyone is just closing the door on them and being like, they're going to lose. Like, this is the Bills they got. I mean, you gave us the spread. It's 6 points?
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. 6.5 is like – that's like what you do when a team is a 4-win team.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers last year when they went into that Bills game, and I sound like a broken record, but that was their 3rd game in 11 days. That was their 3rd football game in 11 days, bro. In the NFL, like, that is tough.
Because they got screwed by all the
COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that,
I also didn't think it was that bad of a game.
It wasn't.
They didn't get blown out.
No, they lost by 11, and, a pick 6 also gave a bigger kind of, gap there in the score. But they went into that game, so I just said, 3 games in 11 days. No running game, obviously. That's no secret. The running game was awful.
Yeah, no.
Randy was terrible, as per usual. The defense was absolutely depleted. You were missing Devin Bush. You were missing Vince Williams. You were missing Joe Hayden. You were missing Bud Dupree. Think about that. Then you go over to the offensive side of the football. Like I said, you can't run the football at all. So literally, it was all on Ben Roethlisberger. He was just carrying the offense the whole time.
With a historically bad offensive historically bad run game and a bad offensive line with horrible blocking schemes.
Yeah. So I think they aren't getting enough credit going into this game when they're going to be more rested. Their defense is going to be stronger than it was. I mean, you got Melvin Ingram in there. I mean, you don't have Stephon Tuitt. That's a big loss. But to have Melvin Ingram, Alex Highsmith, another year of experience, TJ Watt is there. You're going to have Joe Hayden this time. You're going to have Devin Bush this time. You're going to have Joe Schobert this time. These are all improvements that people just, I guess, don't want to acknowledge, or they're just not paying close enough attention. I think it could be a closer game than people are giving credit for.
I think it's funny. I went back and watched our last time we were in the studio, and we were talking about Joe Schobert. And
Yeah.
I was like, I raved about him, and I'm like, now here he is, a Steeler. I'm like, all right, well, you know what?
I'm excited to see
I
him.
gotta say, and before I get into my thoughts on this game further, I did a 2021 full season prediction, and guess who was the executive of the year that I had predicted?
Who?
Kevin Colbert.
There you go.
Because I feel like he's
did good.
he's a ballsy man.
Yeah.
Going out and, I mean, getting Schobert was big. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Bringing back Juju was huge because I don't even think they need Juju, to be honest with you.
No, they don't.
But he's going to help
a huge addition.
And then going out and having the balls, so to speak, to draft a running back after we've seen Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, all of them, top stars falling off.
Yep.
To go out and get Najee Harris and have the balls do that, I think was very impressive. To go out and get Pat Freiermuth to finally get a tight end that I think could be a game changer for the Steelers. The first one since Heath Miller.
Yep.
And as great as Heath Miller was he a game changer? No, I think Pat Freiermuth absolutely could be explosive at everything. To draft Kendrick Green, to have the balls to go out and get a rookie center,
put him to center.
I think
Yeah.
I really like their draft, and I've only liked it more after the fact. So I'm going to say this. It's tough. I'm going to pick the Bills here. I'm going to pick the Steelers with the points because I think 6.5 is ludicrous.
What? I'm not going to blame anyone for taking the Bills. I mean, even in my video, I said the Bills are probably, going to win because you're home. It's week 1.
That's the thing. But I'll say this. We'll know early on if the Steelers are going to win the game. You know how? It's very simple.
Najee.
If Najee Harris is running the ball for over 5 yards per carry,
if he's running,
they're not winning that game.
Yeah.
They're not. But if the Bills can stop Najee Harris early on, then
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough for Ben Roethlisberger, and that defense is no joke. I mean, from top to bottom, you and I have talked about it a lot, with Jerry Hughes and Lutulule and Ed Oliver and Mario Addison up front. You have Russo, who we were just talking about, Vernon Butler.
Luckily, Starr is out.
Oh, Starr is out. Okay,
Thankfully,
so then you have Milano,
helps.
Edmonds.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a great defense either way, but
Yeah,
it does help to have Starr out because Starr going against a rookie center, that would have been bad. He would have taught him some lessons if it was Starr versus
it's
Kendrick.
not the best matchup, but I think we're going to see Kendrick. All right, I'm going to make a bold statement here. I think Kendrick Green is going to ball out today.
Okay.
I think he's going to show the world that I was right first off because that was my guy.
I hope so.
He's going to get to the second level. He's going to be a convoy. He's going to help Najee. I think Najee has a good game. I don't think he has a great game. I don't think he has an elite game. Those are coming this year. He's my RB2 this year in fantasy. I'm going to have a fantastic season. I think he's Offensive Rookie of the Year. But with that said, I have Bills 27-24. I think the Steelers are winning. I think the Bills tie it up, and maybe a late turnover or something like that seals the deal. Bills kick a field goal to win the game.
Fair enough, man.
Because I think the road is going to get to Pittsburgh in a sense. And I feel like week 1 we just don't know a ton. So
it's going to be crazy.
I tend to lean on the home team week 1.
Makes sense.
But I have the Steelers winning the division and winning 13 games.
Right.
So I'm not down on them at all.
Right.
This is going to be probably the game of the week, I would imagine, or at least one of them.
Yeah, it's got to be one of them.
But I do think there's going to be a trend, and you'll notice this throughout my predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trend this Sunday is going to be high scoring. I think there's going to be a lot of points, whereas this one's like there's two defensive Goliaths. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Allen turns the ball over a bit.
Maybe.
I think there's a strip sack from Watt or Highsmith or even Ingram, and then I could see an interception because Allen is still Allen. He still wants to force things that aren't there. He's still going to run 20 yards backwards, take you out of field goal range, did in the playoffs. This is still it's not like he's going to stop doing that. That's probably in his blood. They're probably not going to stop him from doing that, but he's still so damn good. Yeah. I'm going to take the Bills 27-24, but that is probably the game of the day.
Yeah, fair enough.
Moving on, we have an interesting little matchup here. Joe Burrow's return. The Bengals are at home against the Vikings. That also means Mike Zimmer is returning to face his former team that he was the defensive coordinator for. To me, I look at this. Burrow's returning. Zimmer's obviously returning to Cincy, which is kind of cool, having those different storylines. I have unreal concerns with the Bengals offensive line. Would just like to point out that Jackson Carman, who they drafted in the second round, it didn't even make like the starting 5.
I know.
That is very concerning. They didn't draft Penei Sewell like I thought they should. However, I do
and then
feel
they
like
drafted Jamar Chase, who
yes, I really like Chase. I think Chase is going to have a really good season, and I'm not worried about preseason.
he's looked abysmal though.
But I'm concerned with Burrow. Cause is Burrow going to get enough time to get it to Chase, to get it to Boyd, to get it to Higgins? I don't know that.
Yeah.
I have legitimate concerns about the Bengals in this one.
Yep.
With the Vikings, I mean, you have all sorts of weapons.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to win this pretty comfortably, honestly. I think the Bengals have a lot of work to do still.
I still think the Vikings defense is susceptible to getting beat.
Yeah, but that offensive line, as you said, is a
it's bad
problem.
But I think Burrow's going to be able to get outside the pocket, move around a little bit, create some points. So I have the Vikings here. The spread is they're getting 3 points on the road.
I think.
I mean,
I would give the Vikings 7.
Really?
I think they're going to at least win by 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Vikings winning 33-28 in a shootout.
Okay. 33-28. Okay.
I think the Vikings are better suited, especially their offense is better suited in a dome environment.
Okay.
Kind of, where they play basically.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Vikings are going to win this 33-28. I expect a big game out of Cook. I expect a big game out of Thielen. I expect a big game out of Jefferson. And I'm curious to see how they'll use the tight ends because they don't have Irv Smith, which pains me.
Right.
It's going to be Tyler Conklin. And they also traded for Jets' former draft pick from Miami, Chris Herndon. So that's going to be that. Moving on, though. Did you have a score, or you had the Vikings?
No, I don't have scores for these. I didn't look into them that hard. So I'm kind of just going with the flow and how I feel. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then we have an interesting game here. The 49ers head to Detroit. Jared Goff is going to make his Lions debut at home. The 49ers are getting an 8.5 points here on the road, which seems like a lot for a team that wasn't that great last year, had a lot of injuries, and is starting Jimmy Garoppolo, but is Trey Lance also going to play? It's a really weird situation over there in San Francisco.
It's going to be interesting.
I mean, I think they should just cut ties and just be like, Trey Lance is starting, but they're paying Jimmy Garoppolo so much. It's a really bizarre situation. You have Taylor Decker, who is out at left tackle. So it's going to be Penei Sewell making his debut, even though he played the entire preseason and training camp at right. He's going to move over to left tackle. And, oh, by the way, Nick Bosa is your first order of action to go up against.
Yep.
I had Sewell as the only generational talent from this draft, so I think he's absolutely up to the test. That's the matchup right there. If Sewell can handle Bosa, that offensive line is very interesting to me. They got a lot better, and that means they'll probably be able to run the football. And if they can run the football with Swift and Jamal Williams and Jamar Jefferson, it'll open up options for Jared Goff, who's one of the best play-action quarterbacks in football. The thing is, you have to get him to the point where you establish the run and you give him the option for play-action, because Jared Goff works best play-action on the boot, and I think that's what they're going to want to do. So if they can run on the Niners, they have a chance to win this game. I have the Niners winning 30-24, so they wouldn't cover that spread because I think the spread's outrageous.
That's a high. Yeah.
I think the Niners get. I don't know. I think they win in the final, not the final minutes, but I think they win comfortably, and Goff's unable to come back at the end.
Okay. I'm going to go the Lions.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
I'm taking the Lions, man. I'm taking Jared Goff, who, despite my grievances with him, at least has experience, is going to be comfortable in his role. I don't think he's scared of losing his job to anyone like Jimmy G is right now. I think it's going to create a more relaxed environment. I think the coaching staff over at, with the Lions, they're doing some good things over there that I like. I think they're going to make it just kind of easy on Goff. I think they know what he is and what he isn't, and I think they're going to kind of make him comfortable, not ask him to do too much.
I'd honestly love to see that.
I'm gonna take the Lions in an upset. I just feel it. I don't know. I'm down for the Lions today.
I think a lot of Rams fans, Seahawks fans, and Cardinals fans are hoping that you're right there. For me, I think I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's the best way I can put it, because I would not be. I've said for a while, Jared Goff is going to have a solid season. If you're looking for him to fall apart, Jared Goff didn't do that at Cal. They went 1-11 his first year there. He got destroyed, and he stuck with that program, and they became a winner.
Yep.
And then just like the Rams, you can say what you will about McVay getting there, but Rob Boris was his offensive coordinator. He did not win a game. They went 4-12. He took over. He went 0-7. The next season, he's in the playoffs. The year after that, they're in a Super Bowl. Obviously, a lot goes into that. That's not entirely Jared Goff. But I got news for you. Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback, and he can make all the throws in structure. As long as you keep him within structure, he can work. So if they have a legit plan with Swift, with Jamal Williams, with Tyrell Williams, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially TJ Hawkinson, and that offensive line, Jared Goff can win you games.
Yeah, I want to go with them. I'm going with the Lions, and I want to see that push the Niners to then put Trey Lance as the starter.
I want to see it too. I want to see Trey Lance. I know Rams fans are like, why on earth do you want to see Trey Lance? Because I've talked Trey Lance up the whole year essentially. But I'm a football fan. I don't even if it hurts the Rams, I don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo over Trey Lance.
Yeah, okay.
I don't feel like that's good for the league.
I agree.
Niners fan for life. I hope Adam is right about the Niners. He's clearly not a Niners fan.
That's got to be a joke, yeah.
Yeah, because Aiden was says Niners fan for life. Detroit born and raised. Niners win 20-16. Lions will look better than people think, but will take the L today. Decker is out for a month, and Sewell is possibly moving to.
That's tough.
Oh, yeah. One funky Lions fan just said that. So,
but I agree with his overall, view on them. Is I think people are kind of expecting Goff to just be terrible, and I just don't think he's going to be terrible.
I don't see that. Their defense has to get there, and I think their secondary with former Rams cornerback coach Aubrey Pleasant is going to surprise people. But I have them winning 6-7 games this year because I think they have a wicked tough stretch to start the season. But we'll see. If they win this game, they get off to a great start. We move on here to the Cardinals and Titans. It's a 1 p.m. Eastern time game slot. We have the Titans at 3-point favorites, which is standard for a good team at home. It's the first game since Arthur Smith left them to become head coach of Atlanta. The Titans now have Julio Jones. Arizona's secondary is beyond suspect. Malcolm Butler basically retired before the season, which is just... Can we talk about how weird that is?
Yeah.
I don't even know, what goes into that, man. He just... Oh, that's so weird.
I mean, this one's easy for me. This is Titans all day.
I think that the Titans can win in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Arizona's defense needs to prove it. I think everyone is so caught, not everybody, but a lot of people are caught up in the whole, J.J. Watt's there, so it's a different mentality. I need to see it. Yeah. And I feel like their secondary could be a lot better, and it needs to be a lot better to compete in the NFC West. I'm not high on their secondary right now. I really like Byron Murphy, but they didn't really do anything to replace Malcolm Butler before the season started. Right. So, obviously you have Budda Baker. I like Jalen Thompson there. There's just not a ton at corner, in my opinion. I'm going to go to the Titans here. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. It's the Titans' new defense. We don't know how it's going to go. They let Adoree walk. The defense wasn't good last year, but you have a defensive-minded coach in Mike Vrabel who is not going to stand for that. So You have to imagine that'll change at some point. I don't think it changes this week to start the season. So I think a shootout happens. I think the Titans win 42-38 to cover that 3-point fit. I think it's going to be a blast to watch.
Dang, okay.
I think it's something that, Tannehill could have a super day today in fantasy. He could probably lead the entire slate in fantasy.
Okay.
Julio, A.J. Brown. And I'm really curious because with Julio now, with A.J. Brown, does that help or hurt Derrick Henry as far as his statistic? Because I look at it and I'm
I think
like,
it's fine. I think he'll still.
I think it could. I could think it could help him out.
Yeah.
I just think everyone looks at it in terms of, well, now there's more mouths to feed, but there were 2 receivers last year.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is. He's just a different beast. So they're gonna feed him no matter who your receivers are. You're gonna feed Derrick Henry.
But at the same time, I think Kyler's mobility, the weapons they have.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see in this one AJ Green. Can we get the old AJ Green back, or is he done? That's what we'll know.
I think he's done, but we'll see.
We won't know until we see it. But if he's done, then Rondale Moore, the rookie, I cannot wait to see him play.
Oh, yeah, he's exciting.
So we'll see with that one. So, yeah, Titans 42-38 over the Cardinals. You have the Titans?
Got the Titans.
In an easy one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we move on. Seahawks at Colts. Colts are getting 3 points at home. Carson Wentz makes his Indianapolis debut. Quentin Nelson may play. He is questionable, but Xavier Rhodes, Eric Fisher, and Kamoko Toure are ruled out. Seattle's secondary to me is very suspect. I do expect another somewhat shootout in this one.
This one I see a shootout. Because you got Wilson.
I'm going to go Carson Wentz at home. I think, yeah.
What? You're taking the Colts to win.
Yeah, I think the Colts win more games than the Seattle Seahawks this season.
Stop it.
No, I do.
Stop it.
I do. I see it.
No, I got Hawks today.
So
for sure, Hawks.
So I guess my thought process here is that Wentz is back with the guy that basically all of his successes come from. Not saying he's owed all of his, but every single year that Wentz has played well, it has been with Frank Reich.
Yeah.
He is now healthy. He doesn't have COVID. He's ready to go. He's got a bevy of weapons in the running back room. You talk about Jonathan Taylor, a guy that could give you close to 300 touches this season. They just gave a 3-year extension to Nyheim Hines, telling you, hey, this guy is a football player that we really want long-term. He can help you in the passing attack. And then I'm very curious, as a Rams fan, with Cam Akers, how he could come back from that Achilles injury. I think all Rams fans should be watching Marlon Mack this season because Marlon Mack is coming straight off Achilles injury.
Yeah.
And, he looked good in camp. So he's another guy, and then their weapons, I understand. You look at, T.Y. Hilton being out, but they're very interesting with their weapons because they are some high variance, these guys that could explode, but it's more of a wait and see approach. We don't know who Wentz is going to be, focusing on. He's got guys like Jack Doyle, of course, at tight end, very solid tight end all around, not super explosive. Mo Alley Cox, the former basketball player, he is obviously an explosive guy. Kylan Granson, a 4th-round pick out of SMU, I absolutely love. We'll see if the rookie gets any opportunities this season, as well as Paris Campbell. You look at Michael Pittman, obviously. And then one guy I want to throw out there, obviously Zach Pascal has been, very reliable for the Colts. But another guy I want to throw out there is Mike Strahan. I'm excited to see him at some point. I don't know if he'll get much of a run, the rookie late-round pick. But the Colts are very interesting, and I know Eric Fisher's not playing, but it's like I've been seeing people talking about this game, and they're acting as if Eric Fisher was expected to play, and it's like a loss. They've been preparing, for play without Fisher because Fisher wasn't going to be ready for the season.
Right.
So I think the Colts sneak by in this one, 28-27 at home.
I think you're being hopeful.
I don't think so.
Fan.
No. I'm very high on Wentz.
I can tell, obviously.
I'm very high. If I wasn't high on Wentz, I'd give it to Seattle.
Yeah, I got to give it to Seattle, though.
And I will say, if this was in Seattle, that'd be different.
Too many question marks with the Colts right now and what they're doing and how they're going to look. Week 1 going in against a team that knows itself and its identity. Got to give it to the Hawks today. What's next? What's the next game? This
one's going to be fun. Chargers at Washington football team. We got Washington 1.5-point favorites. So that tells you it's close.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick makes his Washington debut. No Curtis Samuel. He was just placed on IR, so you're going to see a lot of Diami Brown, some Cam Sims in there. maybe some Dax Malign as well as Adam Humphries. And then the Chargers, they get a new revamped offensive line for Justin Herbert, and it's the debut of now rookie head coach Brandon Staley, last year's rookie coordinator, and he led the Rams to the #1 defense in football. So very interesting. Right off the bat, first thing that stands out to me, Chase Young versus Rashawn Slater. That is the matchup to watch because they went against each other in college, and guess who came out on top? Rashawn Slater. So it's very interesting. Not many offensive linemen have been able to stonewall Chase Young,
Right.
But Rashawn Slater held his own and then some. So now he joins the fray to protect Herbert. And the most important thing, I think, is they went out and they paid a bevy of money to get the center from the Green Bay Packers, arguably the best center in football, Corey Linsley. So this is a new revamped offensive line for Justin Herbert. You have a defense that finally brings back Derwin James. He is healthy, and he is ready to ball out. He's a Jalen Ramsey for that defense. Just like Bosa isn't Aaron Donald, but Bosa is going to emulate that type of Donald in Staley's defense. I'm very curious to see how well this goes. Washington also has a monstrous defense. I have the Chargers 30-20. I think Washington will move the football with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think the Chargers will stop them. I could see Washington going for it on 4th down twice in the red zone and the Chargers stopping it both times. This is going to be a good defense for the Chargers. I think Brandon Staley absolutely changed his team. As you know, I have the Chargers in the Super Bowl, so I picked the Chargers 30-20.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers here.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing. I like what they got going on over there. Washington football team they're just missing some pieces for me still. I'm not the biggest Fitzpatrick fan anyways.
Yeah, you've told me. You were like they're a quarterback away, but Fitzpatrick wasn't
the quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm going Chargers on this one.
I'm happy for him to get this opportunity at the end of his career.
Sure.
But he's the Hall of Fame of journeyman quarterbacks.
Yes.
But Washington was trying to get Stafford. They were definitely trying to get another quarterback, but they ended up settling on Fitzpatrick, which I'm not going to hate on them for. Jets at Panthers. This is so fun. I love this. Do you know how much I love this game? Sam Darnold's first game as the Carolina Panthers going against the team that just threw him away. I love this. I absolutely love this. Carolina is 3.5-point favorites, 1 p.m. Eastern time slot. Zach Wilson debuting on the road.
Yeah. I'm going to go Panthers.
I don't think this will end up being close.
It's going to be Panthers, right?
Yeah.
You got Panthers.
Yeah, I think the Panthers roll. And I think people are going to see Joe Brady is gone after the season. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, former offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers, obviously known for his work with Burrow, I think is going to absolutely thrive. He's got Christian McCaffrey again. Keep in mind, a lot of the time, Bridgewater did not look bad. The problem was he had to work without McCaffrey last year. Now you have Sam Darnold, a guy that has shown some promise in this league, but he's been around nothing at the offensive coordinator and the head coach spot. Anytime you're around Gase, that's not a good sign. So, I look at this. Matt Rule has a Carolina defense that looks vicious. They just went out and got Hassan Reddick, a guy that Matt Rule coached at Temple.
Yep.
So they got him. Brian Burns is turning into a superstar. They got your corner that you love, J.C. Horn. I think he's going to have an opportunity to be up there for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think the Panthers are a good football team this year. I think they win 11 games. I'm going Carolina.
11.
Yeah, I'm going Carolina. Robert Saleh has a lot of work to do with this team. I don't think he's going to succeed this season. I think it's more of a long-term build. I think Zach Wilson will flash at times. This is not one of those times. No. I think they score 13 points in garbage time. I think the Panthers absolutely dominate. 27-13 Panthers at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers here as well.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold is in for a big game. I think he's going to make a statement.
Okay.
So, those revenge games, man. So Jaguars at Texans. We have the Jaguars at 3-point favorites. Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer making their NFL debut, which is hilarious to me. Tyrod Taylor starting for Houston. If you don't remember, last week Tyrod Taylor was supposed to start for the Chargers, but then they like punctured his lung with a shot,
Yep.
and it was just the most bizarre thing. Felt so bad for him. He gets an opportunity, albeit it's on the Houston Texans, who I think is the worst team in football.
Yeah, what are they doing
I don't really know what they're doing.
with Watson? They're just not playing him?
He's going to be inactive all year. He's going to be on the 53. I think eventually he's going to be traded to Miami.
Yeah.
That's where I see him going. They want like
So-
6 players and a bunch of picks. I don't know.
Okay.
But-
So it's Tyrod Taylor.
hmm
And, okay.
Now, before you say anything,
Yeah.
this is the
I kind of want to say the Texans.
first time since 2002 Trevor Lawrence has a chance to be the first number 1 overall pick
To win
in
their
week
starting
1
game.
to win a start since David Carr of what team? The Houston Texans, when he beat the Dallas Cowboys 19-10.
Oh, for some reason I want to go Texans just cause.
Really?
Yeah.
Do it
And
for
I
the
did
culture.
not like what I saw from the Jaguars at all in the preseason.
You know, when I saw Trevor Lawrence at first in preseason, I was like, ooh, that's going to be rough.
No, I think he's fine. I just don't.
Well, no. But then later on in preseason, he got comfortable.
Right.
And you saw, he's playing with who I think is going to have a great year, Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark, Marvin Jones. A lot of weapons there. I think James Robinson's going to go off yet again. Probably going to question why they drafted ETN.
So who are you going? You're going with Jags?
I'm going to go with the Jags.
Okay.
I think this is – so Houston has an iffy running game to me. I think David Johnson – obviously David Johnson used to be great, but he's got so many injuries going on. It's like, I don't know. He's just not the same player. You have Phillip Lindsay. Yeah, he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and then the Broncos just offed him. So, we'll see with him. But I don't know. I don't really like the Texans. I feel really bad for David Culley. He became the head coach for this team. I just feel like this team is using him as a placeholder. I think they're going to fire him after the season. It's just a horrible situation where you have this franchise quarterback. You have no idea what you're doing. So I have the Jaguars, since the Texans are headed towards absolute turmoil. I feel bad for their fans. I have the Jaguars winning 27-23. I do think it'll be close because it's a rookie quarterback. I could see,
I'm going
Lawrence
Texans.
making some mistakes here and there.
Yeah.
But
I'm going Texans.
on the road, too, is going to be hard for Lawrence.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going Texans, man.
But I think James Robinson will be the key.
Okay.
They'll pound the rock, and Robinson they'll win the time possession.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. This is a huge one. We go to the 425 slots. We have no 405.
Browns, Chiefs.
I don't know. I hope that's not permanent, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. Browns, Chiefs.
Browns, Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs, baby. I'm calling my shot right now.
So 5.5 point
Let's
favorite
go.
are the Chiefs. I don't think it's high enough.
Dude, I can't wait to watch this game. Oh boy, I can't wait to watch this game.
I'm telling you right now, this is the one game I think actually is a legit blowout.
And if the Browns win, I'll be the first to be like, dang, they are for real, for real. But I can't wait to watch this game. I just think people are overhyping the Browns like crazy.
Well, I'm on that boat with you because
Yeah.
I've said over and over, and we were talking about this the other day, the Browns have names. They have Malik Jackson jumps off the page, guys like that. But it's are we making all of these guys out to be like they're top notch? Sion Taki, he's a solid.
Yeah.
But he had a pick in that playoff game against Ben Roethlisberger. Everyone's like, oh, Sion Taki, you're forgetting about him.
Right.
Mac Wilson. I'm not a fan of the Browns this year to be this big team. I have them winning 9 games. I think they're being overhyped. Plus Baker Mayfield. Everyone's like, well, they're getting Odell Beckham Jr. back, and I'm like, yeah, but their offense almost ran better without him last year. I don't know how much he fits that team. I'm absolutely gonna go with the first true blowout of the day.
Wow.
The Chiefs win 42-21. Here's my reasoning.
So aggressive.
I don't care. Here's my reasoning.
Okay.
You couldn't beat the Chiefs last year when Chad Henne came in. You knocked Mahomes out.
That's true.
You lost to Chad Henne.
That is
Mahomes has not forgotten that. I can tell you that much. 1.
Yep.
2, Mahomes and the Chiefs are pissed. They just lost the Super Bowl. Everyone's saying Super Bowl hangover. They saw the Rams after they lost to the Patriots. They saw Carolina has not been the same since they lost to the Broncos. Teams that lose in the Super Bowl die. Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, sorry, the Patriots in a sense. So here's my thing, okay? I think the Browns are being overhyped. I don't think they're a bad team. I have them win 9 games. That's over 500 in a 17-game season. But they're being overhyped. And Baker Mayfield is not good to go head-to-head with Mahomes. And in this game, I don't really love the Chiefs' defense. I never have. But I feel like this is the best Chiefs' defense they've had. And furthermore, this is by far the best offensive line they've had. I mean, their offensive line is nasty. They went out and they got Brown. They went out and they got Creed Humphrey, who was going to start. We knew he was great.
I can't believe the NFL let the Chiefs put that offensive line together.
That's what I'm saying. And then you have Tyreek Hill, and you have Travis Kelce. Yeah. CEH is healthy. I think Edwards-Helaire is going to be absolutely huge for them.
All right.
And I think the Browns, they're going to get away from the thing that makes them good.
Running?
I think they're going to get away from running the football. I think they're going to – so first drive of the game, the Chiefs are going to dominate, right? They're going to be explosive. They're going to move the ball like crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen? I can tell you what's going to happen. The Browns are going to try to match that, and they can't.
Okay.
So I think that's what's going to happen.
So
I think the Chiefs will just take off. Yeah.
All right. I think
Mahomes was tossing touchdowns in preseason. If they want to throw him in preseason doing that.
I think, yeah, I got the Chiefs winning this for sure. I don't know that it's a blowout like that. Maybe a 10-point win. 21 is, I like it though. Calling your shot.
Aiden's like, dang, Jake.
Yeah, calling your shot for real, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like trying to be biased. Like, obviously, like Browns fans are a little annoying. Not all of them, but I just like this is how I feel. It's like the Chiefs are gonna come off like, no, we're not. There's no Super Bowl hangover. We want to get back. Yeah. We want to win. So this is how I expect that to go. Next one here, game I can't wait for. The debut of Mac Jones. Dolphins at Patriots, 4:25 Eastern Time. New England is getting 3 points. I love it.
I'm going Patriots all day.
I'm absolutely going. New England has a quarterback that can manage the game, not turn the ball over like crazy, really can make any throw need be. I was really impressed with Mac Jones in preseason. Yeah, he was my QB6. I loved him at Bama, but I'm going to be real with you. I liked Mills better. I liked Zach Wilson. I liked Lance, Fields, and Lawrence. But that doesn't mean I didn't like Mac Jones. I just wasn't as high on him as others. Right. You watch him in preseason, he was comfortable, man, and he was letting it rip, and you saw that velocity that, honestly, I didn't see a ton of at Alabama.
Right.
So I'll say this. With a running game, Damian Harris, you have Ramondre Stevenson, who blew up in preseason. You have James White still. You have J.J. Taylor. Then you look at, their bevy of weapons. People don't want to say they have a lot of weapons, but Nelson Aguilar is one of the best deep threats in the league. Last year, he averaged almost 20 yards per reception. You have Kendrick Bourne, super underrated, that can help you underneath. And then you have a guy like Jacoby Myers, who's gotten better each year. You have the tandem of Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Yep. And what is one thing that young quarterbacks tend to do? They tend to lean on tight ends as their security blanket. I love Jonnu Smith this year in fantasy. I think he's going to be a top 10 tight end. I think that's going to be his go-to target. Look at the offensive line from top to bottom. I mean, there's no weaknesses whatsoever. They even got their backup plan as a backup at center. They thought they were going to lose Andrews. Not only did they get David Andrews back, they also got Ted Karras to back him up. So their offensive line is filthy. The Dolphins have a really good-looking roster, too, and Brian Flores is great. But Brian Flores also came from Bill Belichick's tree.
I'm excited to see Belichick with his quarterback.
Yes.
Because last year, Cam Newton was just not his guy, not his type of quarterback. So I'm excited to see how he bounces back, now that he has what he feels is like a Patriots quarterback, that pocket passing quarterback. I'm excited. I think the Patriots win this one. I'm with you.
I have them winning 23-16.
Gotcha.
I still have concerns with Tua. I feel like that running game also. I like Gaskin.
Yeah.
I like Malcolm Brown. I like Salvin Ahmad. I just don't know if they have a guy that, like, Damian Harris could take over a game. Ramondre Stevenson showed you. I just don't feel like if the Dolphins have to establish the run early, I don't know if they're doing it against the Patriots defense. And by the way, Matt Judon has a chance to explode this season. They spent a lot on him. I'm a really big fan of his. So,
yeah. I mean, I would say, so we're both in agreement, though, Patriots.
Yeah.
Comfortably? For you said 6 points?
23-16.
23-16, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say pretty comfortably.
And plus, at home.
Yeah, like.
I feel like the Patriots never lose at home.
5 or 7 points.
They do, but, All right, so this is another potential shootout. We got the Packers heading to Jacksonville to play the Saints.
Jacksonville?
Because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
I know.
I was like, wait, what? Yep.
Jameis Winston, Saints debut. Happy for him. Saints are thin as hell at wide receiver.
Packers all day, though.
Secondary, to me, is a huge question mark for the Saints.
Wait a minute. What has been going on with the Packers and Rodgers? Has he returned yet?
Rodgers is good.
He's coming back?
Yeah, Rodgers is good. He announced all that.
When?
He did, like...
Recently?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he was just
You're
like...
just living under a rock.
Yeah,
no.
apparently. So he was just like, I'm just not playing preseason, essentially.
No, he...
Did he play in the preseason? He did.
No.
Yeah.
No. He dropped, like, this, like... I don't know. It was like one of those... He wants to run it back another year with Devontae Adams.
Yep,
yeah.
You're right. Okay, yeah, I mean, I got Packers in this one.
My only concern with the Packers, their offensive line, they're starting 2 new guys, and they have no Bakhtiari.
Rodgers can make that work. I mean, he'll just...
Oh, I know he can. I think it's going to be close, though.
Yeah.
I think the Saints have not only some weapons on offense, which, let's be honest here, their wide receivers are thin as hell. I love Callaway. I think Marquez Callaway is going to go off. I think he and Jameis Winston are going to have a great connection. Traquan Smith just went on IR. They don't have Michael Thomas. So now you're looking at Lil Jordan Humphrey as a starter, you know. Yeah, and plus Adam Troutman's out. So Jawan Johnson is their former wide receiver from Oregon, transferred to tight end. I'm going to go Packers 30-28 over the Saints.
Okay, 2 point.
So I don't know if I agree. They're getting 3.5. I think it makes sense, especially because it's not at home. It's in Jacksonville.
Right, yeah.
But
all right. Yeah, I got Packers in this one.
All right, now we got Broncos at Giants. Denver is getting 3 points on the road. Saquon Barkley is back from a torn ACL. Giants. Teddy Bridgewater. Hold on a second.
I love the Giants this year, man.
Oh, I do too. We'll get into that. Teddy Bridgewater's making his Denver debut. Both teams have very good defenses. You have Patrick Graham's Giants, and then you have Vic Fangio's Broncos. Denver's offensive line is dominant. I love their offensive line. I think it looks great, whereas the Giants are having some issues. So that is a little concerning in my opinion. I expect it to be a close game. Saquon is a very interesting piece here because when you look back at the former running backs that have torn their ACL and come back week 1, the history of it, you had Dalvin Cook and Adrian Peterson. I think they both had 2 touchdowns in their comeback. Dalvin Cook was explosive, had over 130 yards. AP was held under 90 rushing yards. That was the year, of course, AP almost broke the record. Dalvin Cook had a phenomenal season. I'm looking at Saquon Barkley, and I'm thinking he's going to have another great season. I think he'll be Offensive Player of the Year. But I don't think he's going to go off in this game the way some people want him to. I think it's going to be a little bit of a patient thing. But I do think Daniel Jones, they did the same thing they did with Eli Manning. I think that's going to work out for them because Eli Manning, there was a lot of pressure to let go of him. Wasn't getting it. He was a slow, all that, right? Same thing with Daniel Jones. But they built around Eli. And just like Daniel Jones, instead of listening to the pressure and going and getting Justin Fields, they went out, they got Kenny Golladay, they went out and they drafted Kadarius Toney, they got Kyle Rudolph. Like, they're trying to build around him. I respect that. Plus, adding Adoree Jackson and stealing Azeez Ojulari in the second round, that offense and the defense, offense has a lot of weapons. The defense is massive. You have James Bradbury leading the way there. Not to mention Dexter Lawrence has just turned into a monster like they expected. They also stole away your 6th-round pick that I love in Quincy Roche. So I'm going to go with the Giants here, 24-20. I think the Broncos obviously have some weapons. They have a ton of weapons. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, you name it. But as much as I like Teddy Bridgewater, but I just feel like the Giants' defense is a little bit better than the Broncos. I feel like Patrick Graham is going to make them, it's going to give them some fits. Yeah. And so I think with an inconsistent, running back group, which, by the way, I think they should probably trade Melvin Gordon straight up to the Ravens and let Javonte Williams have that backfield. I don't think it does him any good to have those two bouncing off each other. I think it takes them out of their rhythm. So I could see that as well. I just think, the Giants have so much going for them with their defense. People are sleeping on them, so I'm glad you're on them with me.
Yeah.
I got the Giants 24-20.
Yeah, I'm going Giants. They're my sleeper team this year. Big fan. Big fan of what they're doing.
I have them winning the division.
It's all on Daniel Jones.
10-7, but I have them winning the division.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Bears at the Rams.
God, when is that game? Is that tonight? Or
yeah.
It is.
8:20.
That's what I thought.
So Sunday night, 8:20, and we have the Rams at 8-point favorites. Andy Dalton makes his Chicago debut. Matthew Stafford makes his Rams debut.
This is not even fair. This is like so disgusting.
This is the SoFi. Honestly, I said this I went on like 6 different Bears podcasts.
It's honestly good they're not putting Justin Fields in for this game because that would not be nice.
I genuinely feel bad that Bears fans, they waited longer than you and I because their team wasn't in the playoffs. And they're getting to the point where it's like week 1 and we have to play the Rams, who have Matthew Stafford, who, by the way, has tormented us through the years on the Lions. And, oh, by the way, this is the Rams opener in the regular season at SoFi, the debut with fans. So last year, it was kind of like, whatever. This is the biggest game, like, of the season, so to speak, as far as excitement, because it's not about who they're playing. It's about this being the first game with fans in a regular season SoFi game. So you have that going for you.
It's going to be a blowout.
Rams have very few weaknesses on paper.
The Rams are going to crush them.
The Bears have a few of them. Andy Dalton, to me, if they play Justin Fields, I keep saying this.
That defense, though, is going to destroy Andy Dalton.
I keep saying this. If they play Justin Fields, we don't know.
They're still losing.
But we don't know.
Yeah.
Dalton, we know.
Right.
We absolutely know.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you look at this, and they'll try to run the football with David Montgomery. They'll have a hard time doing so. Shot by Nolan says the Dalton era begins.
Yeah.
But, I think they're going to try to run the football with Montgomery. He's a very good running back. I think he'll have success this season. I don't think they'll do well running the football. Not against that front three with Donald, Sebastian Joseph Day, and, of course, Sean Robinson. But then you have Leonard Floyd, who's going up against his former team in the Bears. Had 2 sacks. To me, I look at the Rams. I think Stafford. I think
I'm so excited to see him.
It's going to be, oh, man. It's going to be an absolute thrill. Keep in mind, Sean McVay. A lot of criticism for backing off on Jared Goff. Everyone is using the narrative that, hey, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl and you can't win with him.
Right.
But I just think there's so much more. There's way more layers to that. We just found out today, according to Ian Rappaport, that basically Matthew Stafford was going to the Carolina Panthers, and he nixed the trade. He backed out of it. He told the Lions he was not going there, and he forced his way to the Rams.
Smart man.
Which is surprising because we've heard all sorts of stuff like the 49ers, the Colts, all of that. Stafford wanted to go to the Rams. That was his go-to. So he orchestrated this, and we'll see tonight. This is somebody that gets a lot of hate for not winning, without context, of course. I think Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay are going to have a lot of fun tonight. I think Sean McVay is going to go balls to the wall. I have a blowout, and
what's the score?
I have it 38-10.
Okay.
I could see the Bears doing something if they pulled Andy Dalton, put in Justin Fields, kind of changed the tempo a little bit, injected some life. I think Fields could manage the game with his mobility. I think that's the only reason. Well, I mean, I actually just completely disagree with starting Andy Dalton. I feel for Bears fans that, are getting so excited for this game, and then it's like Andy Dalton's your starter. Bears still have some good players, but to me, I don't see this being relatively close.
Yeah, 38-10. I'm going to say, I'll give this one a score. I'm going to say 35-14. I think a garbage time touchdown happens.
That's kind of where I'm going with that. I think Stafford plays the full game. There were people saying, does Wolford come in? I think Stafford plays the full game. I think McVay's, people are asking me, is this going to be like a balanced game plan or anything like that? I don't really think it's going to be that balanced. I think that McVay's going to get way too crazy with the passing.
Yeah. So we got that, and then...
So the final game, and then we'll answer your questions at the end of this, and then we'll call it a night or day, whatever. Ravens at Raiders, Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern Time on ESPN. Baltimore is 4-point favorites. If those of you have been living under a rock...
Is it in Baltimore?
It is not. It's in Vegas. Those of you who have been living under a rock, the Ravens are trotting out Tyson Williams to be their lead back. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and J.K. Dobbins are out for the season. Marcus Peters as well. Both teams, I feel, did improve in the offseason, but the Ravens' recent injuries have really minimized that. Now, I expect guys like Anthony Averett to come in and alleviate the pressure a little bit of not having Peters, but obviously not the same as having Peters. The running game, I think, is going to be fine. I think Tyson Williams is a really good back. I think he's going to show that.
Okay.
I hate it for Gus Edwards. I hate it for J.K. Dobbins. I hate it for Justice Hill, although he beat out Justice Hill before he got hurt. But I look at the Raiders' dual backfield, and I'm like, Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs might, work. I mean, that might be huge for Derek Carr. And if that's the case, keep those guys fresh. You can establish the run. Then you have Henry Ruggs that everyone's forgetting about. Then you have Brian Edwards, who, what was it? Gruden was comparing to Randy Moss in training camp.
Yeah,
It's an interesting one. Plus, you have Darren Waller.
I think the Ravens are going to be better than people are giving them credit for, even after these injuries.
I do too.
I'm going to give them the win here. I would say I think they can go in there and they can win that game.
Just think Lamar Jackson gives them a chance.
His legs, exactly.
I have 34-22 over the Raiders.
Gotcha.
I think it probably starts off slow, and then it's like every Baltimore Ravens game you've ever seen. If it's any win that ends up being a blowout, it starts off slow, and then Lamar Jackson gets a touchdown and just totally demoralizes the other team. Yeah. And I could see that happening.
Yeah. So I'm going Ravens there. You're going Ravens, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
34-22.
Cool.
All right, so wrapping this thing up, do you guys have any questions for us? Now would be the time to throw them at us. We'll answer them, and then we'll head on out of here, get ready for the rest of the day.
Let's go.
If you guys are interested, I'm doing a watch party for the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. That's going to be insane.
Nice.
I'm doing 6 hours of live stream. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't think there's any questions coming in.
Anyone?
Let's go. Let's go Steelers. That's my sign off. Let's go Steelers. I think we're good, bro.
Yeah, I don't think there's any questions. So, All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Episode 20 in the books.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be back here next Sunday. Cannot wait.
Won't be late. I promise. I will not be. Well,
unless you go.
I'm going to be at a football game.
Yeah, you're going to be at the Steelers game.
So I just won't be existent. Can't be.
I'll throw
late if you're non-existent.
Yeah. No, I feel it. Oh, we got a question. Never mind. Aiden's being a smart.
I can see the future. Who would win? Oh, jeez. The one that reads minds.
Oh, my God.
Dang, wait, that's such a stalemate. Dang it. I don't know. No, I'm going to go future. The one who sees the future. Thank you guys,
All right.
and good night.
You guys have a great NFL Sunday. Again, you can head on over to the Jake Ellenbogen channel. I'll be doing a live stream pretty much all day, the majority of the day. But also check out his channel as well, Adam Steele. That's going to do it for us. You guys
Thank you
take care.
Love you.
If I don't see you, I'll see you next week.